Let's talk enrichment because we all want to be enriched.
Barry, what's enrichment?
Yeah. This is a super powerful tool. And I know we say a lot of things are super powerful, but so this is chapter 9, right? Chapter 9. Here we go.
Yep.
Yep. So this is something that is fairly new, and you can do a lot with it. You can get yourself painted in a corner if you do it wrong. So, the instructions are in the book for how to make it work, but we just wanted to demo how we do it and some things that you can do with it. So this is my city, Lomita, and let's zoom out here to give a little context. So we are in Los Angeles County, and which is slowly drawing. And you like that because those are the real colors of Lomita. We're a primary color city, just to make it more fun. Um, anyway, so this is here's USC here downtown, and it's a lovely community, as I'm sure you already knew. So about 20,000 people, and we recently had to go to district elections, and so I'm on the city council, and this is my district right here, which
And
is
so that means you had five members that represented the whole city, and now they had to draw areas, and each of the council members represents one of the district areas, right?
yeah. And so this is me. I'm District 4, and so we're having our first election. I'm unopposed, so that kind of makes it a little bit easier, just a little bit. But I think still run a negative campaign just in case, going after your name here. Um, but we needed demographic, or we need, I should say, because this is a present tense thing. We need demographics for these districts. We have data for the whole city, and we have like census tracts and block groups and so on. Um, but it's really handy to have data that actually speaks of your district and how it's different. So, um, just like a cooking show, I'm going to show you an already done version that I did. And this is looking at the Hispanic population within each of the five districts. And so you can see it ranges from a low of like 35% to a high of 42%. So that's actually a very narrow range. So there's not a whole lot of difference between. We're a very diverse community. Um, and so it's just helpful to be able to like look at real data because people make all sorts of assumptions. And very often those assumptions are wrong. And I have a couple other things in here. So if we look at the symbology, and let's look at this is another one, owner occupied housing units, the percentage. And you can see this varies from like 34% up to 52%. And what this says is that Lomita is not, generally speaking, a owner occupied housing community. We have a majority are renters. So, like in my district here, this section that I'm hovering over has a lot of apartments and condos. But again, until you look at the real data, you just don't know. So these are some of the things that I pulled out to take a look at. Or let's look at where people work in town. And you can see they work here along this stretch and this stretch and this stretch. Well, guess what? Our major thoroughfares are Lomita Boulevard, Narbonne Avenue, and Pacific Coast Highway. So it's no surprise that that's where the jobs are. Okay, so how do you do this? It's so easy. It just blows you away what you can do with it. And you can do this with any shape. So that is what's really cool about it. So let's go back to our districts here. And I'm going to say zoom to. There we go. So we see what, turn that symbology off. Now we've got a little more real estate to work with. Let's zoom again. Okay. All right. So let's see what kind of things that we can do. So this is really easy. Just click on analysis. It was doing this to me earlier.
Tools.
I know, but it should be opening up the window. Oh, I know, because I don't have it widened now. And so there's the enrich tool.
And he's got it on favorites, but all you need to do is put it in the search and it'll bring it
Yeah,
up as well.
that's a good point. So enrich, which, we keep saying this again and again, but it's really important. There's so many things in the tools, and don't worry that you don't know what most of them are. I don't think the people who designed them know what most of them are. They're designed for specific uses, and you be you.
Yeah,
Okay,
nobody uses all of them.
so input features. I'm going to start with our council districts. And this is the generic answer it gives. And so I already have a layer here, council districts enriched, that we looked at. And I can call it council districts improved. With yet even more factors. Okay, here's where it gets fun. This is something that kind of overwhelms people, and I understand why. So
Yeah, there's a whole lot to choose from.
yeah, if you thought the tools thing was bad, the data that's available here can be so overwhelming. So let's just go ahead and start with what I think is one of the worst. And by worst, I mean best, because there's the most in there, spending. So we have all of these categories here. So let's look at spending on entertainment. Just look at all the categories. And you can see there are a whole lot of things here.
Yeah, can you slow down just a little?
Sorry.
Because, yeah.
I'm enjoying the scroll too much. The joy of the scroll. And you
Yeah,
can,
that's some pretty specific stuff.
yeah, like amount spent on photo processing. Well, I'm gonna bet most of us don't spend a whole lot on photo processing anymore. I'm old. I did that. But you notice for a lot of these, there's three different things you can choose from: number, average, and index. So a number is the amount spent in this case. We click on this little I here for more information. The average is the average spent per, in this case, per household, and the index compares to a national average. So let's go back here and
And you can get all three on whatever variable you want as well.
yeah, good point. And
So,
because they have different uses and they're very handy.
yeah.
Okay, so like if we look at dining out here, and we have spending at restaurants, we have spending on alcohol, we have spending non-alcohol, meat, food, and beverage. Anyway, there's a lot of categories here, and total expenditures. And plus look at the dates here. You say 2024 and 2029. Well, they have data that is based on what they actually know, and 2029 is projections. So we can look at whiskey. How much do people drink whiskey at home? In the alcoholic beverage category. But let's just stick with simple one here. Meals at restaurant, other, and I want an index. So I want to compare to a national average. And I also want to look at school lunches. So I'm going to see, I can turn all these on, as Bonnie mentioned. I just want the index in this case. And I'm going to leave this one in because I want to know the total dollars spent. Okay. And there you can see I got some items. Okay. And let's remember those because we're going to come back to these. Estimate credits. And you can
Yeah,
see,
so running this tool consumes credits. And before you hit that run button, you want to make sure you're not making some mistake that costs 20,000 credits. So
and how
it's a best practice to always click that estimate credit consumption. That way you're just sure before you click run.
yeah, absolutely. Because bad things can happen. 0.15 credits, I can do this one all day and not make a dent in my credits. I think we have something like 5,000 credits or something in our academic accounts. So I'm going to go ahead and run it. And this won't take long. It's only a few variables and it's only a few areas. So easy
Yeah.
peasy.
And I like that it gives the progress bar and then it tells you when it's done as well.
Ooh, here's something new. Suggestions.
Oh, let's see what that is.
See suggested tools related. It's running off the edge of my screen. I have to read it. Related to those you previously ran in this project. Well, who knew?
Let's,
Okay.
do you want to click
Um,
it? I'm kind of curious. Let's click it.
it won't click. It's
Oh,
just,
it is grayed out, so that's
yeah.
okay. What?
I guess they have no suggestions because they figure we've already done such a good job.
You were so thorough.
Okay, so let's take a look here. Um, I'm going to just we're going to close that. Okay, so let's see what we got. I'm going to turn off my other one.
Yeah, so when it comes up, all it's doing is copying the symbology. So it looks the same and you may think it didn't do anything, but it did do stuff. So we're going over to symbology and picking graduated colors, and then we'll pick whatever variable we want to look at.
Yeah, come up with some of the dumbest suggestions like the shape length. No, that's not what I'm real concerned with.
No,
But
how about how no, forget it. I was gonna make it.
yeah, restaurant meals. So, and we would clean this up, by the way, if we were going to use this, you know,
Yeah, so it doesn't have 6 decimal places.
yeah, or maybe even any. I mean, come on, you just don't need that.
No.
Use significant figures. Anyway, so we can see, I'm going to do zoom to layer again. That seems to make this thing fix itself. You can see that people in the north end of town um, eat at restaurants more than people on the south end of town. Curious. I don't know why that would be, but that would be something worth dipping into.
Yeah.
But it's not a big difference. Let's look at one of our other ones. Let's look at the index comparing to a national average. You can see all the areas are above the national average.
Okay, so the national average is at 100?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Okay.
So yeah, 100. And so 125 is 25% above the national average. If we have
Okay.
a 90 would be 10% below the national average. So obviously we can go down to 0 and there's no upper limit, theoretically. Let's look at school lunches. That's when I really should have looked at the data to see what it was actually showing. You can see there that the numbers are actually low compared to the national average.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's what we've gotten those. Okay, so let's do this. Let's go back to our tool there, and we're going to look at what would happen if we did this for blocks instead. I guess I should turn on my blocks just so you can see what we're working with. So there's my blocks.
Nope. Lamita blocks.
There they are. Oops.
Nope.
Yep.
Lamita blocks. Yeah.
Okay. Although we'll get back to that because we want to show what we came up with. Bonnie and I were looking at this. Okay, so there's my Lomita blocks. So now if I look at enrichment here and I say Lomita blocks and variables, let's go back to our spending and food. And I could have saved those other items, by the way. And so let's do the meals at
Yeah, like you
restaurant.
can make it see the star next to the text?
Yeah.
You can make
Yes.
that kind of a favorite.
Yeah. So if I click on that, they're stars. They are my stars, my favorites. And it makes it easy to come back to them again, which I should have done last time, but I was just going quick through it. Okay. And that one would jump just the index. All right. So if I do that, all right. So this is based on blocks instead of the council districts. And if we look at the estimated credits on that, it is 4.32 as opposed to the 0.17, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's look at something really fun here.
And that, yeah, and that's because there are more polygons for it to process.
Yeah, and this one, which has some crazy symbology in it, don't worry about it. This is blocks for the entire state of California, which I have here. See, there they are, everything. Anyway, so turn that back off. Wait, performance is kind of sluggish. Okay, so if I'm doing the enriching blocks with this, the estimated credits is, oh, it's, sorry. Oh, it's only doing the selected. Yes.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
so this is really handy because I had gone in here and let's turn it back on again and turn my Lomita blocks off. I had selected the tracks, or sorry, the blocks that are in Lomita. And so it says, oh, do you want to use just the selected records? Like, yeah, so there's their 4.32 credits. But if I say, nah, do the whole thing.
The
Okay.
little refresh at the end, at the right, next to 4.2 credits.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Oh,
Okay, we know this is wrong
yeah, it is.
because we ran this and you know what? Maybe if I clear my selection, because the correct, oh, there we are. Yeah, like you don't, you can't even do this. Stop. So it says you have, this is going to take 15,600 credits to do for the whole state of California. Do
Yeah.
I want to do blocks for the entire state of California? No.
No.
So, and so some things you could do if you wanted to do this with fewer credits, you could use block groups because block groups are made up of several blocks, or you could use census tracts, which are made out of um, several block groups put together. So the fewer items you're trying to enrich, the lower your credit count is.
Yep.
But anyway, and again, so if we go back to our,
Lamita blocks.
actually, I was going to go back to council districts,
Okay.
estimate credits. And yeah, there we are, 0.15. Just, it's amazing the difference. So if you're careful about this, you can save yourself a bundle. And you can get a whole lot of data. I mean, it's pretty amazing. So let me bring up one other thing here. So I'm going to stop that share and we're going to talk about the Living Atlas because I just wanted to show this as being something related where you can get a whole lot of cool stuff.
Without credits.
With, yeah, free. It's
Yep.
free.
Living Atlas has all the goods, all the goodies for free.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, that's where I got those blocks for the state of California.
Okay.
So here we're looking at the Living Atlas. And so you can explore around here. So like if I say, I want, and let's make sure that we're in the category, I want all content types. I want just layers. So that'll make it easier. And California, whoops, I can't type. Census. And there we have several choices. So we can get the blocks, tracts, and so on. So if we look at the blocks, which is that layer that we had there. Oh, sorry, I got all of California or US. That's okay though, because we can look at it and get information on it. It's going to tell me something terribly important. Yeah, there we go. So it says it's authoritative and it says where it came from. It's Esri demographics, so it's going to be good and tells us the date of it and a whole bunch of other notes. There's a lot of great information in this. So something we can highly recommend. And just warning, you can go cave diving in this and spend the rest of your life in there. because there's so much interesting stuff. Like if you just look at maps and so on. Anyway, so
Yeah, if you're prone to rabbit holes, this will do it for you.
do we have anything else to say about enrichment?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Give it, if you saw something you thought was interesting, give it a try.
Yeah. And you see something you don't get? Well, I don't know. No, ask us. All right. Okay. That's it for now.
All right, thanks.